Hello, I am Chris Plate, and my presentation is on Chapter 9, Mid-Latitude Cyclones. Front and overrunning. A front is a boundary separating air mass of different densities, one warm and often higher in moisture content than the other. Overrunning is the warm air gliding up and retreating cold air mass. The 5 basic types of fronts are warm, cold, stationary, occluded, and dry line. Warm fronts are the discontinuity at the forward edge of an advancing warm air mass that displaces cooler air in its path. The top picture shows idealized clouds and weather associated with a warm front. During the winter and early spring, warm fronts produce light to moderate precipitation, often consisting of snow, sleet, and rain over a wide area. The second picture is during the warm season when conditionally unstable air is forced aloft. Cumulus clouds or thunderstorm clouds often arise. Prior to arrival of a warm front, winds tend to be from the east. Temperatures are cooler and cloud cover gradually thickens. After a warm front has passed, winds are from the south. Temperatures warm and the sky gradually clears. Cold fronts are the forward edge of an advancing cold air mass that is displacing warm air in its path. On a weather map, a cold front is shown as a blue line with blue triangles protruding into the area of warm air. Cold fronts generally approach from the west or northwest, indicating by a band of ominous clouds foretelling the ensuing weather. Prior to the arrival of a cold front, an area experiences an increase in winds from a southerly direction and a warm temps, while a line of thunderstorms may be visible in the distance. Backdoor cold front is a cold front moving towards the west or southwest along the Atlantic seaboard. Stationary front is a situation in which the surface position of a front does not move. The flow on either side of such a boundary is nearly parallel to the position of the front. On a weather map, a stationary front is shown with blue triangles pointing into the warm air and red semicircles pointing into the cold air. A stationary front separates warm air on one side and cold on the other, while its position remains relatively fixed. Occluded fronts are a front formed when a cold front overtakes a warm front. Dry lines forms when warm, dry air encounters warm, moist air. Usually develop in the Great Plains when dry continental tropical air originating in the southwest meets moisture maritime tropical air from the Gulf of Mexico. Dry lines are spring and summer phenomenons. Mid-latitude cyclones are large, low-pressure center with a diameter often exceeding 1,000 kilometers that moves from west to east and may last from a few days to more than a week. Polar front theory that was developed by J. Bjerknes and other Scandinavian meteorologists, in which the polar front separating polar and tropical air masses gives rise to cyclonic disturbances that intensify and move along the front and passes through a succession of stages. The polar front theory was the first model to explain the development and evolution of a mid-latitude cyclone. The polar front theory describes 6 stages of the life cycle of a cyclone, starting with a clash of 2 air masses along with the polar front and ending with the disposition of the low. The weather moving a counterclockwise motion in the picture shown as the map also shows the intensity of the precipitation. Cyclonic and anticyclonic circulation. A cyclonic has air that flows upwards towards the jet stream, and anticyclonic has the air spiraling downward towards the ground. A surface low pressure is characterized by convergence, while high pressure at the surface exhibits divergence. Conveyor belt model. Warm conveyor belt is the airflow within a mid-latitude cyclone that moves northward near the surface ahead of the cold front. Cold conveyor belt is the airflow in a mid-latitude cyclone that starts at the surface ahead of the warm front and flows westward towards the center of the cyclone. Dry conveyor belt is the airflow in a mid-latitude cyclone that starts in the uppermost troposphere and splits. An Alberta Clipper is a cold, windy cyclonic storm that forms on the eastern side of the Canadian Rockies in the province of Alberta. Nor'easters are classic storms that travel from the mid-Atlantic coast to New England. This is when the winds preceding these storms are from the northwest. Gulf lows form over the Gulf of Mexico. These storms move northeastward and carrying warm, moist air into the eastern U.S. This shows that the motion of the clouds in the middle picture and can also show the formation of the clouds and how they are structured. The middle section is a map view with lines showing the surface position of the cross section. The isotopes are shown in the map and show how the frigid Arctic air impacts the eastern two-thirds of North America. This map shows the cutoff of the low pressure system from the jet stream and stops moving. This makes the low pressure stuck there for a long period of time. In these maps, it shows the weather conditions and how the low pressure gets stuck and how the weather stays put. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.